so excited to be here with Margaret Gordon, actually one of my mentors, to hear her encounter story. Margaret, you were sharing with me about the legacy of faith that you have written about and that you are leaving for your kids and your grandkids. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Okay. I've talked a lot to our children over the years, and also our grandchildren, about my faith and how real it is and how God is real. But there's so much more I wanted to say, to tell them, that I wanted to write a book about my life story and how God has been so amazingly great to me throughout. And that is my story for the encounter.
So it's about God's amazing love and grace in your life. So do you want to share some of those experiences with us?
I've experienced how God has worked in my life. Okay. And so I think it's in retrospect. It's not at the time that I noticed it so much, but when you think back to your life and you reflect on your life, especially when you get to be my age, then you realize, wow, God has been so amazing, so amazing. And it started when I was about 12 years old, and I saw in Sunday school, a banner says God is love, and I thought, oh, I want to get to know this God who's love, and that's what triggered my journey. And part of the story is how faithful God has been in helping me to find this God is love. I don't think I would have ever found God if he hadn't pursued me. And he took my desire, and I think it just starts with a desire. He took my desire and he pursued me. And when I came to Canada and I went to different schools, I was always led to Christian girlfriends who invited me to their church, and then I heard the gospel, and that's how I became a Christian.
Wow, fascinating. You were telling me a little bit about your grandfather too, and how he became a Christian. You want to share that?
Okay, I think that's something that triggered my journey as well. My grandmother encouraged my grandfather to write his life story, which he hadn't planned on doing. But she said, you've got to tell your story, it's so amazing. And then at the very last paragraph, he said, of all the adventures at sea that I had as a sea captain of a big four-masted sailing ship, he said, the most exciting experience has been when God found me. And I know my father always cried when he read that. It was so moving for him, and it's moving for me to think my grandfather found the Lord, and he left his legacy of faith for me. And that's what I wanted to do for our kids.
And so you've put it together in this book to share with your kids and your grandkids.
And our grandkids, especially our grandkids.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful book. Can you share a key moment with us?
Well, I think one key moment for me was I had become a Christian in Huntsville when I was living in Huntsville. I was 16 years old, and I started, I still had a lot of non-Christian girlfriends. And of course, they didn't live for the Lord, they didn't go to church, and I thought, is this real, what I have in my heart? Is this real? And I started to doubt. I was just a new believer, and then I got this double ear infection, which was very, very painful. And I was lying in bed that night, and I remember thinking, Jesus, if you're real, the Bible says that you rose from the dead and you're alive today. If you're alive today, you can heal me just like you heal people on earth. It made total sense to me. And I said, Lord, if you heal me, then I promise to serve you the rest of my life. And, it was a childlike request, but the Lord took me seriously and healed me just like that. And, I lay down. I didn't feel anything unusual. I just lay down again, not thinking that God would actually do it. And then I put my head down and I thought, there's no pain. And I put my other head down, there's no pain. I kept pressing on my ears to see if there was pain, and there was no pain. And then and that was the beginning of my really wanting to serve the Lord. And I knew he was real.
And the amazing love and the amazing grace.
Love.
So Margaret, tell us what's been challenging.
Well, there have been many challenges, and the one thing that it started after we had our firstborn babies, twins, and they died within a week after birth. And that was very hard for me because I thought, well, what did I do wrong? I didn't think this happened to Christians, and I struggled. I really struggled. But God gave me such peace, and I remember the story of Job that really comforted me. And I remember this where the Job says, "The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." And that really, I don't know, it came from the Lord. That He reminded me of that, and I was lying in bed and I was at the hospital, and it just comforted me. And it really strengthened my faith, and it strengthened my husband's faith, and the faith in the church. The church that Grand pastored saw how our faith was increased through this experience.
Yeah. And you get to share that with other people to just show how you can trust in God, even when the worst happens or a big adversity. Thank you.